So what else is in the news? What else is going on? Hey, I'll tell you. Also, on July 11, the Janna Marie sweetheart and I met with the Metropolitan Opera in New York City at Lincoln Center. And yes, we set up the appointment with them to discuss our ASL Opera Project, interpreting opera in American Sign Language for new deaf audiences. And we picked July 11th because that's our day. 35th wedding anniversary. It's our lucky day. It was a meeting that no matter what happens, the fact that we were able to have the meeting in the first place and they were willing to hear us out for an hour and to let us pitch our idea was a day and a moment that we will now remember forever because it went really great, and because it's on July 11th, and because it was on our 35th wedding anniversary, and because we tasted Sambuca for our very first time. So all of these wonderful firsts, all of these wonderful, hey, go get 'ems, all happened on July 11. So we had a great meeting at the Met. Let me see if I have some information here for you. I can hear sirens outside, which is not great. Oh, it's a fire engine. When there is flooding on the way, because flooding means storms, lightning strikes, it sounds like something's going on out there. And it doesn't seem very good to me. Now, this is not what I want to show you. This is what I want to show you. Wrote this July 13. Yes, the deaf just may sing at the Metropolitan Opera in New York City. I'll put the link to this in our Discord server. These are our visitor passes. And so this is an update on our meeting and what happened. And Janna Marie did a wonderful job. She performed a song for them that she had been working on, an interpreted song from the Janna Marie sweetheart that I will show you. And from the Met. And this is the song, O mio bambino caro. This is Janna Marie outside of Lincoln Center. And this is the song she is interpreting, this version of Maria Callas singing the same song. And then there was a strange mirror ball there. It was very hot that day, and we made it through. And then when we were done with the Met and filming Janna Marie, we went and we had our lovely anniversary lunch, our celebration dance, all together. We had a wonderful time, and we discovered Sambuca. So I'll just play this. There's no sound. I'll put the link right there to this ASL Opera version from the Janna Marie sweetheart in our Discord server as well, so you can take a look at it. And there's no sound because, first of all, this is for the deaf. Second of all, we don't have the rights to include sound. We don't have the rights to take the Maria Callas version and play it under Janna Marie's video. So in the article that I showed you, we have Janna Marie first, and then we have Maria Callas second. And if you click on Janna and then you click on Maria Callas sort of quickly, they sort of sync up. So you can watch Maria singing, and then you can see Janna's interpretation of the song and how it would work in a live setting. And in some ways, it's a little bit disappointing we even have to have a conversation today, 2023, on if operas want to interpret just one performance of an opera for a deaf audience. It's wild to me that we even have to have that conversation. To me, if you're going to have a meeting about ASL interpretation, the meeting should be, okay, what do we need to do to make this happen? The topic of the meeting should not be, I wonder if we should do this. I think we're way past that in America. But, there's some people online, who found out about this. And, I was telling them about our meeting, and 90% of them are very positive. It's about time. Go get them. And then there's about 10% of the trolls who look at you and give you a hard time and say, oh, interpreters in a theater ruin the aesthetic. And the opera is all about aesthetic, man. How can you ruin opera? Who do you think you are? Meow, meow, right? It's all very disgusting and awful, and people who talk like that and who only want to tear down things, who just want to be, that way because they're that way. I don't know how they survive in a world that's constantly changing around them. And I guess this is one way for them to fight back. We don't want change in the opera. We just want old opera. Now, there have been changes in the opera over the last 10 years. Opera has been historically for 200 years European, written by white dudes, starring white people, okay? Now, if you go to some of these Met productions, you'll see that they have people of a variety of shades, shall we say, on stage playing parts that have traditionally been played by only the white people. So that's really good, and that's really important because it's inclusive. It includes people. You don't have one stage for the white performers and the white writers and another stage for, putting in a person of color or two. You bring everybody together in the same room. You bring everybody together to experience the same thing in the same time, in the same reality. That is what is important. That is what makes the difference in a life and in an experience, is being included when you were not included before. So if an opera company wants to provide interpreted performances for the deaf, they need to do it right, and it needs to be provided in a performance factor. You can't put them in a rehearsal hall with, a singer and an interpreter and, do a couple of arias and invite, a deaf people to come in and watch that, because that's not an opera. That could be an education. That could be, part of interpreter training. But that is not an opera performance. An opera performance is big voices, big orchestra, spectacle, giant sets, beautiful costumes, 4,000 people together in the same room, experiencing the same thing together, watching it together, applauding together, standing ovations together. We don't do separate but equal anymore in America. Now, there are people who want to do that. These 10% who were nasty to me and my beautiful wife's idea of an ASL Opera Project. Yeah, those people are always going to be that way. They're the people who are going to complain and write a letter and say, who do you think you are, having interpreters on stage? I'm trying to watch the arias and all I see are these interpreters. Who do you think you are to include deaf people in the operatic experience? And to those people, you say, thank you very much, but you're wrong. We're doing the right thing. And we don't really care about your complaints because you're a troll. And aesthetic changes. Tastes change. Acceptability changes. People change their mind. People grow. People are able to think in different ways. People are able to hold two separate and different ideas in their mind at the same time. That is the mark of an inclusive society. That is the mark of a genius, brilliant mind in action. We don't just do one thing and do that forever. We do many things and do them different ways. So that is my answer to how and why should the deaf be able to sing on an opera stage. And Janna Marie is deaf, and she sings. You just saw it with your own eyes. Oh mio bambino caro, Janna Marie live and in person. The deaf singing an opera. It will happen. It must happen. We're going to make it happen. With or without an opera company. We're going to keep making these videos. ASL Opera Project. You can go to aslopera.com and take a look at what we're planning. Right now, it goes directly to our latest article. And our previous article about will the deaf be allowed to sing at the Met? And yes, they just might sing at the Met. But this is bigger than the Met. This is not just New York City. This is Chicago, Los Angeles, La Scala. This is a worldwide thing that needs to be fixed and has not been solved. And ASL, sign language, any sign language is not English. It's not a written text. It's a visual language that needs to be experienced. And I answer these and other questions that you might have right here in this article that I will share with you on our Discord server. And now we're going to take a very brief break, returning in just a moment.